Hello, I'm Ron Gidwitz, Chairman of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Today, we come to you from the National Press Club in our nation's capital and have a very important task: to report on the state of our youth. I have the honor of introducing your host for this important address, Jim Clark, the President and CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and Trei Dudley, Boys and Girls Clubs of America's National Youth of the Year. Please welcome Jim and Trei.
Thank you, Ron. As President and CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of America, it's my privilege to welcome you to the 2013 State of the Youth Address presented by our National Youth of the Year sponsor, Tupperware Brands Corporation. As President Obama is preparing to deliver his State of the Union address in 2 weeks, which is a time to identify key priorities for our nation, we're giving a voice to the often forgotten segment of our population, our youth people. Our goal today is to put the issues confronting our nation's youth at the forefront of the national dialogue. We ask that you sign the petition at the bottom of your screen asking the White House to form a teen advisory committee as part of the National Commission on Children, with efforts led by Save the Children, Harlem's Children's Zone, and others, including Boys and Girls Clubs of America. This committee of youth leaders from across the country will help ensure our nation's leaders stay engaged and offer solutions for the most pressing issues facing teens. America's young people today face unprecedented challenges with poverty, obesity, and the need for 21st century workplace skills topping a way too long list. We see the real impact these challenges have on kids every day at Boys and Girls Clubs. Many of our clubs are located in struggling, poor, and largely underserved communities in America. By definition, the youth clubs serve often face heightened obstacles and challenges. Our job is to give them support, hope, and real-life skills that will enable them to grow into confident, successful, well-prepared adults. This afternoon, you're going to hear from a young woman who is living proof of what Boys and Girls Clubs do every day. She's our 2012-2013 National Youth of the Year, and she speaks for the 4 million young people our clubs serve. Her story echoes those of too many youth across America. Her early home life was marked by domestic violence, and by the time she was in the 4th grade, she was living in a single-parent household. To help support her family, she went to work at a very early age. Throughout all of these challenging times, she found a place that gave her support, guidance, and mentoring: her local Boys and Girls Club. Club staff helped Trei thrive and develop self-confidence, all on the way to being named our National Youth of the Year last fall. Thanks to companies like Tupperware Brands that are here with us today, who have partnered with Boys and Girls Clubs of America for over a decade, and who have sponsored our National Youth of the Year program that provides college scholarships to Trei and hundreds of others. Matter of fact, Trei finished her freshman year with a GPA of 3.58, and her aspirations are to open her own teen center someday. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Trei Dudley, our National Youth of the Year.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. As I've traveled the country in my role as National Youth of the Year the past few months, I've spoken with so many of my peers about our hopes and fears for the future. One thing I hear over and over again is that many of us don't feel like we even have a voice. We don't hear our leaders talking about the issues that concern us most. Those thoughts were confirmed by a recent national survey of teens conducted by Boys and Girls Clubs of America. A staggering 8 out of 10 said the issues that teens most care about have not been addressed. The survey also revealed the top 3 issues troubling today's teens. Number 1, access to jobs, training, and college education after high school. Number 2 was youth violence. And number 3 were risky behaviors, such as alcohol, drug, and sexual activities. As a teen, I can tell you that these issues are definitely on the minds of my friends and classmates. The fact that 61% of teens are worried about getting a job, training, or college college education after high school really hit home with me. As excited as I was to graduate from high school, I had no idea how I would be able to afford college based on my mother's income alone. I was thrilled when I learned that my Boys and Girls Club could give me guidance and resources to help me go to college. Thanks to the support of the National Youth of the Year sponsor, Tupperware Brands, and its chairman and CEO, Rick Goings, founder of the Rick and Susan Goings Foundation, I received more than $60,000 in scholarships to help fund my education. Now, I'm a proud freshman at the University of Arkansas. My Boys and Girls Club provided me with academic and personal growth opportunities, and companies like Tupperware Brands have provided the financial resources to help me reach my goals. Like many of my peers, securing funding for my college education was my #1 concern prior to receiving the National Youth of the Year honor. 40% of college freshmen drop out because of academic, financial, and personal hardships, and college scholarships and financial aid are essential for many students coming from low-income families. Additionally, we as college students are burdened with debt and the reality of diminishing job opportunities after graduation. A recent study suggests that nearly half of college graduates are overqualified for their jobs, and the trend is likely to continue for college graduates over the next decade. Businesses can play a major role in helping address these challenges that not only impact individual students, but also the health of our workforce and economy as a whole. It is imperative that companies partner with nonprofit organizations to ensure young people are adequately prepared for the financial resources, professional mentoring, and practical skills they need to succeed beyond school and college. But sadly, there are many young people in America who don't share my story of a great future despite challenging circumstances. That's why I feel so strongly about my role with Boys and Girls Clubs of America, to ensure more young people are given the support they need to graduate on time and with a solid plan, resources and opportunities for their future. To deliver this, access to training, financial aid and scholarships are essential, and I've made it a core priority for my tenure as National Youth of the Year. Today's teens are also very concerned about violence. It seems like there's a different tragedy every day, from Sandy Hook to the recent shootings at Lone Star College in Texas. It's really hard to have a hope for a positive future when you don't even feel safe going to school. According to the survey, more than 60% of teens say violence among youth is a major issue, and I agree. It is very disturbing to watch young, innocent children and teens become victims of senseless violence every day. As President Obama said in his inaugural address, we, the young people, are America's future, and we must be protected. It was important to hear President Obama speak about our nation's responsibility to its most precious resource, its children, because there is a lot of work to do to reassure the generation. Only 10% are confident that America's leaders will address our nation's most important issues. That's why I am pleased to share that Boys and Girls Clubs of America is actively working with the Vice President of the United States to identify effective strategies for helping to protect young people and prevent future violent acts in youth-serving communities across the country. There are some of the most pressing concerns for America's young people, but they are certainly not the only concerns. The resounding takeaway from our survey findings is not only do young people want solutions, they want a platform. They want a forum for ensuring that their needs, concerns, and priorities are heard by leaders who are in a position of influence to do something. Responding to this change from my peers, we are helping other nonprofit partners call for a teen advisory committee as part of the National Commission on Children. Starting today, we are engaging kids, teens, and adults alike from all over the nation to petition leaders on Capitol Hill to engage a group of teens who can provide an ongoing pulse check on the status of America's most valuable asset, its young people. This Teen Advisory Committee will provide frequent updates about the status of our teens and also offer recommendations and possible solutions. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is collaborating with other youth development and youth-serving organizations to advocate for this committee, and we want you to join us. I encourage everyone watching, teens, parents, community leaders, citizens, to rally together as a nation to ensure that my peers and I have a future where we are prepared for success. You can take part now by visiting bgca.org/stateoftheyouth and signing our online petition to form a Teen Advisory Committee. We are telling our nation's leaders that we need them, and we are saying that we need to feel confident that our leaders will deliver meaningful solutions to the challenges we face every day. We are, after all, America's future and tomorrow's leaders. And more than that, we are America. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Trey. Outstanding presentation and some obviously alarming facts about the state of affairs here for teens and kids in America. You know, you've raised some critical questions and issues that we as a nation need to pay close attention to. So, you know, Trey, let's take a few minutes and answer some questions from our online audience and our audience right here, and hear what they have to say.
So we have a question from Catherine G. What can the youth organizations do to address the most pressing teen issues?
Great question, Catherine, and certainly very important. You know, youth-serving organizations across the country can do a lot to help teens and kids today. You know, first and foremost is outreach. Reach out to the teens in America and ask them to get involved. I think too many times teens in particular don't necessarily engage. So your friends that are engaged, I'd encourage you to bring other friends along and get involved with organizations. Obviously, a second one that we're here to talk about today is to sign up and be a part of the committee that we're asking everybody to engage and form. The third, real quick, is get involved in your neighborhood or your community, whether it's through a youth-serving organization or a community-based organization. There's plenty of things kids and teens can do to help their community and their neighborhood. Ask your school, if you don't have an advisory committee at your school, ask your school what you can do to help provide feedback and input. And that's what will make your community, your neighborhood greater and help get you more involved in the solutions and the answers to some of the challenges we face today. Great question.
This second question is from Marcia H. for Trey. What can adults do to inspire young people to do better in school so that college is a part of their vision for their future?
I think there's a lot that, you know, adults can do to kind of push kids into, you know, realizing that college is something that they actually can do. Growing up, I always knew that college was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I would be able to get there. And, you know, we have programs at Boys and Girls Club like Power Hour that do help you, you know, get your homework done during the time when you have free time instead of at home when you might not be as focused. So I think that, you know, just like telling kids that they have that opportunity, that, you know, there are resources out there that can help them get to college is something that they can definitely do, and just kind of be there as an outlet for them, because sometimes, you know, school is hard and they have other things that they want to talk about or focus on, and, you know, be there for them to come to.
We have another question for Trey from Jillian. Where do you get your drive to succeed and reach your goals?
Well, there are two places where I get that. One from my home family, and then as well as my Boys and Girls Club family. Growing up, you know, things weren't always the best, but I knew that I could always rely on, you know, my younger siblings and my mom for support, as well as the rest of my family to, you know, be the best that I can be. And I definitely got that from Boys and Girls Club. If it wasn't for them, I definitely clearly wouldn't be where I am now. And so I kind of strive to work hard so that I can give back to them and set a positive example for my siblings and, you know, for other club kids. So they give me the drive to, you know, try to be as successful as I can be.
Our final question is from Dominique C. for Jim. What would you say to someone who felt like young people today don't have any real role models to look up to?
Well, Dominic and everyone, I think that's an important topic in today's society. Kids and teens need role models, and sometimes we strive to find the ultimate role model in a celebrity or a sports hero. And I think the way all of us need to look at it is there's role models amongst us, there's mentors amongst us, and all we need to do is ask. And I'd encourage and challenge everyone watching and listening to this to really ask an adult to be their role model or to be their mentor. Too many times today we're engulfed and concentrate way too much on our handheld device or our phone. And technology is part of our life, but we use that for everything in terms of communication. When we think about role models or mentors, it's really important to have a one-on-one conversation and somebody that you can confide in and trust. And the only way you're going to do that is through a voice-to-voice conversation. So I'd encourage you to put down your device and ask an adult to help guide and direct you in life. And you will be surprised with the answer you get, because it will be yes. And they are there to help you, and they will help you. So I think that's the challenge we face today, is don't be afraid to ask, and also to put down the technology and really have an engaging discussion with an adult and ask them to be your role model. Again, thank you all for joining us today, but we don't want to leave this important conversation at an ending spot right now. You know, this must be an ongoing dialogue, and we need our teens to help us and help us lead the way. Again, we ask that you sign the petition that's listed at the bottom of your screen, asking the White House to form a teen advisory committee as part of the National Commission on Children. This committee of youth leaders from across the country will help ensure that our nation's leaders stay engaged and offer solutions for the most pressing issues facing our teens today. We need the support of the entire nation to give our young people a voice. Thank you again. We'd also like to express our appreciation to our many partners, including Tupperware Brands Corporation, that has committed more than $2.5 million in continuous support and college scholarships to help young people achieve a solid future and a great future. Working together, we can make a difference. Thank you all.